opportunity for a career in MMA that wasn't like really tight, but wasn't also didn't have to be UFC. Because even then, UFC was paying like back then it was $2,000 to show, $2,000 to win.
It wasn't what it is
know?
today.
You weren't. Most people had a second job, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so he was the first one that wanted to. At least they were trying to make it.
Yeah.
And then they switched it up. They made it like team based. So you had teams of it was 55, 70, 85, 205 heavyweight, and you go 5-on-5. Each team had one in each weight class, and unless there's a draw, you have to have a winner in the teams. And so they try to bring something cool to it. Cool. Yeah.
So I guess from Jeremy Williams, like when did you kind of get hooked up with Tracy Hatz's sub fighter? How did that happen?
So when I was training at Apex, Tracy had started his sub fighter already.
Okay.
I don't know if it was originally out of a garage or if he was with Tone from the start, but I know he had already started it because him and Jeremy were training partners from Next Generation.
Wow.
Like they came up together.
Yeah, they were all under Chris Brennan at that time, then moved out on their own, right?
Yeah. And so when Jeremy had Apex, Tracy had Subfighter.
It's a crazy story.
And it's like me and Rick were running Subfighter.com, but then Tracy ran Subfighter the gym where they're like
That's right.
same
That's
name,
right.
but separate things, you know? And Tracy would always bring his fighters, like multiple times a week. We'd be cross training with his guys. And so early on, I think it was probably in my first few months, I met Tracy. Like I met him when I was 20. And so, yeah, I think I met him when I went to my first King of the Cage. And that's where I linked up with him. And then obviously after Apex closed at one point, I went over to Tracy because I wanted to keep it in the family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, logistically speaking, I mean, how much was we're talking about like your inroads to combat sports. So like, I mean, how much further was like Tracy Hess's place from Apex? Was that
half-hour drive?
I would say it was about the same because I drove from downtown Huntington Beach.
Oh, damn.
And so if I was driving to Mission Viejo or driving to Lakewood, it was about equal. Just one was north, one was south.
Wow, okay.
So for me, it wasn't that big a change.
Okay.
Like distance-wise.
Maybe that's why I feel like I know Max forever, because you're from Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
So am I. I think I might have known you before all this MMA stuff that we all got, entwined with, but that's crazy. So the Justin Levens thing wasn't a part of that, right? Was he training with you guys down there as well?
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
Okay,
so that was part of it. Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the Condors also.
Got it.
After Jeremy was gone, I remember he went down from, he was the 205 and he went down to 185 to take his place. And he was on the team too. Because he was originally a Marco Huas guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody in South County, I think, was at one point, right? Marco was the guy that brought it,
Yeah.
He put that whole thing together. So, gosh, it's amazing that your whole lineage starts with all of that. It's a tumultuous time, but that's when I think things started to really change, too. Things started to blow up in the game, right? UFC really started to take off after all that.
It was probably like 2000. I remember like 2008.
Yeah.
It was when I remember Elite XC came around back then and Pro Elite, and they were just handing out money everywhere until they didn't have any more money.
Sure.
But I remember it really blew up because it was right at the beginning of the blow up. Ultimate Fighter had been out for a little bit now.
Yeah.
It was definitely
a few seasons only.
Yeah, and so it wasn't brand new. It was had just enough that it was really popular.
Yeah.
Especially after the first season, people went back and saw like how those finals looked and like, I want to fucking watch this.
Yeah. And people wanted to be on it.
Yeah.
The lines got huge.
Yeah, and then
now during the dark days, I wouldn't say dark days, but I reference it because like no TV, no exposure, right? The fact that
that's true.
I
forget about this. Right? Yes.
So I mean, what you started off with you and your friend kind of like, we should get tougher. And then you do this, right? I mean, I remember the first time I did jiu-jitsu, I was scared as all shit. And, like all I wanted to do, like all in my adult life, all I wanted to do was fucking be Stu Hart and fucking choke out bears. Like that was, fucking old school style,
choke
right?
out bears.
Yeah, not choke out bears. That's a different Anyway.
I didn't say it, but he was thinking
choke out bears. Anyway, so what kept you consistent? What kept you, I mean, obviously that first initial deal with your friend, but you've kind of made a life and a career in combat sports. So, like, in those early days, like, because there wasn't money in it, there wasn't exposure, it wasn't the cool thing to do like it is now, like, what kept you in it?
Well, for me, it was a mix of, I loved it. You know, especially when
It's a
I
good reason.
started Apex, from when I started Apex until Apex wasn't around, I was there 5 to 6 days a week just because
Damn.
I fucking loved it. There'd be days where I would just go get jujitsu'd out. Like I'd go to morning class, I'd go over to No Limits, do some more jits, go back for night class, and just be like, just gimme. I don't know. I didn't get sick of it. I was young enough. My body wasn't broken like it is today.
Oof.
You know.
Happens to the
And
best
so
of us.
I could just go
That's a
all day.
fact.
Things would pop, and I'd be like, I'm fine. Let's go. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Now like the wind hits me too hard, and I'm like, I'm good. You know.
Got a pain in my chest.
I think it's gonna be cold tomorrow. My bones hurt.
Yeah. And then financially, so when I was with Apex, I'd paid when I started. I'd actually used like birthday money to pay for it.
10 points.
And then
It's honest, dude.
And then after that was like I covered 3 months with that, and then after that I was there so active enough 6 days a week that me and Jeremy were close, and worked through a deal that I mopped the mats every single day to pay for my gym dues.
It's a
Damn.
cool story. I
Yeah.
love it when I hear things like this. How
Yeah.
people just stay involved in any way they can.
Yeah, that was at the same time like Jessica Penne was part of the team.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I remember
And
Jessica,
she
yeah.
was same thing. She wasn't paying gym fees. Just not everyone could afford it, and she was just
Yeah.
clean. I think she would clean the bathroom like once a week.
That's the story of every dojo.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
know?
always just gym fees.
I was mopping
Right?
mats and she was cleaning the bathroom, and that's how we covered our dues. And we were there like a bunch of us were there so often that we were there for everyone that needed people to train with. And
So cool. So
yeah.
cool to hear people like her too coming up. Same place, same thing.
Yeah,
You know? One
And
of
so-
the female stars of today, and the girls are still kind of carving their way into the sport. I know that they're making a louder bang these days, and they're making more money, and people are actually paying attention. But man, it's still got a little ways to go to catch up with where the guys are at. But just cool to hear that she was there. Even then, training with you guys.
they're trying to catch up to where Ronda was at.
Right? Yeah, that's a-
because
no.
I was like, I
Crazy.
don't think Ronda's paying catch up, but the rest of the women are playing catch up to Ronda,
Right?
just financially.
Right.
It's incredible what she accomplished in that time period, right?
Well,
Especially when
away.
when you got the.
It's kind of crazy, too.
when you're being marketed that way. It
Yeah,
helps, you know?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of crazy because I think a lot of times where women's MMA is right now, even with the Rondas and like these crossover stars, it's still kind of like where men's MMA was like 25 years ago.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, it's,
exactly what I was trying to get at.
Like you can walk across the street and ask 10 people, "Hey, do you know MMA or UFC?" And you'll probably get like maybe 5 and 5, which is a long way from where we were, where nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
When I was going to radio school out in Huntington Beach, and they're like,
I love
"Wait,
that
you
he
wanna
went to
cover
radio
this?
school in Huntington Beach."
You want to cover this? Like you're basically throwing up your tuition money. Like what the fuck are you doing? Like, and that's what. And then now,
And
to
look
kinda
where
be
he is
here-
today.
I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a dude.
Love it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
According
kind of
to
crazy.
Woods.
I mean, we all saw like Carla Esparza, right? How come she isn't a bigger deal? I mean, we're talking the first ever divisional champion for Invicta, and look at what Invicta has produced for the UFC and other promotions. Every marquee female talent, not named Ronda Rousey, and I guess like Misha Tate after that time period,
Yeah.
has basically made their mark in Invicta,
Through
right?
Invicta.
And then comes into the UFC via the Ultimate Fighter and becomes the first divisional champion for that. And then you look at like Joanna, like look at where that strawweight
Yeah.
division has been, and Carla Esparza in 2 of the premier organizations for women's MMA basically took the championship for both of them, the first ever.
I think Joanna kind of might have stolen her spotlight.
Oh, yeah,
because
for sure.
She that first defense was rough.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
Joanna was on a
absolutely.
roll for a while, and she's
Yeah,
just
'cause-
laser precision and brought Muay Thai so dominant into the game.
Yeah, because it was Penne after that one,
Right.
And that was
Just lit her up. I hate to say that, so
was a
bluntly,
rough one
but
to watch.
yeah,
You know?
especially when you know the person. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's the sport, but still, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Brutal. That
Yeah.
was brutal. But that's how Joanna was in those early fights. In
I always
UFC.
every time she fights, I'm always I still get excited, but I'm not disappointed, but I'm just always I want to see her just like destroy like
Yeah.
she used to. But she's
Yeah.
always fighting one of the best in the world, so you're not always gonna destroy. You know
But
what I mean?
once Namajunas kind of put her in her place, she never got that spark back.
Absolutely.
I don't know what happened, but she didn't return to her former self.
Well, when you go so dominant, and this is any sport, right? When you have that aura about you, right, where you're indomitable, right, and then especially in combat sports where it is like you're getting punched in the face. It's not like, oh, somebody scored a touchdown on you or somebody dunked in you and had their balls in your face. Not like you've got
What was
head
that?
trauma. You've got scars. You know,
very
when you walk
colorful
into
with your
bars,
words.
essentially, right?
I love that.
And I mean, seriously, I mean, it does something to you, you know, and somebody's mindset. You know how they always say, like, when, you know, after that fight, they're never the same. And I used to think that was a selling point, right? To sell fights and everything like
Yeah.
that, to put an ass in every 18 inches. But after seeing some of the folks, you kind of go like,
you
yeah,
gun
no,
shy?
that's completely true. That's totally legitimate, you know?
Yeah, there's
Especially for
definitely-
Joanna.
Yeah, there's definitely. I've seen some fights where, yeah, you're like, that guy is definitely never going to be the same, and then they aren't. You're like,
Yeah.
man, that guy's like, I don't want to name names, but there's some people who, I remember before certain fights, they were like the fast talker, and then ever since that fight, they turned into like a slow talker. You're like, man, that fight fucked you up, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think there's also other aspects, like possibly in Joanna's case, there's like, you have this grind, this hunger when you're trying to get to the top,
Yeah.
you know? And so your mindset is you want to win. And then once you're there, once you've established yourself, once you're a name, it's like some people switch that like I don't want to lose. You know, it's not so much
Yeah.
I want to win, I don't want to lose, and it kind of changes the way they fight. You know, they don't take as many risks. They're just
They
playing
become
safer.
calculated. They
Yeah.
become methodical, you know, because, again, there's way too much to lose. And again,
Yeah. And it's
you
not
know,
always for the best.
right,
You know?
absolutely. And just for a person, right? So a lot of people forget because of the events that happened later on the night with Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. She was on the undercard. She was the co-main event,
That's a
right?
fact.
Right? And I mean, these are 4 women that essentially sold out a soccer stadium in Australia. Like, that's nuts, right? And then-
Especially at that time.
at
it was
that time,
unheard of.
Absolutely, and the fact that, you know, in many cases, yes, of course, like if it wasn't as dramatic of a downfall for Ronda, we would have been like, this is Joanna's coming out party.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she just
Yeah.
She kind of got
that
overshadowed.
was, yeah, absolutely. You know, that was so it's just kind of weird, but that's why when you hear about, like, you know, athletes going to sports psychologists, Stylebender, who's just on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Style Bender is
Right.
incredible, right?
You're right,
I want to see
absolutely.
what happens with that since you brought it up.
Right. Well,
I'm really curious.
I mean, the thing about it is, you know, he said he very early on he went to a sports psychologist, you know, and you know the mindset is different, and that's so crucial, and that's what, you know, like Dono and I do, right? So we've all seen our favorite fighters, you know, and they fight on the regional scene, and then get to a point where they're potentially making big money, or at least have a greater platform to parlay what they do, right? And they choke on the microphone, and
Sure.
they're unable to connect, right? So very much just like your coaches are basically training you as a coach, or training your guys and girls for your fights, we're training them to get to the next level and be able to connect, right? And to be able to be the CEO of whatever brand they are, right? But you also need this other component because the mental game is so crucial.
I'd say like the mental game is like up to like 80% of the fight. I know guys and girls who are fucking amazing. They smoke people, but they step in that cage, and you're just like, "What happened? Well, you froze. Like, what's wrong with you?" You know?
Absolutely.
And then I've seen people who I think they are terrible, and they are terrible, but they're mentally they're just like, "No, I'm ready to fight," and they go out and they beat people they shouldn't beat.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Then it's all just mindset. They're not like worried about. They're not nervous. They're not like. They're just like, yeah, let's fight. And other people are like, you know, shaky. Even me when I
Yeah.
fought, like I probably could have used a sports psychologist. I definitely could have, because I remember I was in the back, and you know, once I walked through that curtain, I came out dancing. I put on a game face, but in the
Right.
back, I'm like in tears, like just stressing out. Just, you know, I've seen videos like you've seen Tito before fights. He goes and he's throwing up before a
Yeah,
fight, even with
absolutely.
as much experience as he has.
Yeah.
You know, it's nerve wracking because you out there, like one mistake can fuck everything up. The whole training camp, everything that you've been training for, your money,
Yeah.
and your career path. You know, like one mistake can ruin everything. You don't get a mulligan. You know.
Hell no.
Even if you beat somebody, if you're so good, you're like, I beat this guy 99 times out of 100. That's still 1 in 100 that's going to happen. And if that one
Absolutely.
happens on that one night, you could have fun. You're going to be waiting a few years for your rematch at best.
At best, right? And it might happen, because one person is signed for the other, promotion or whatever. Because that is the case, right? Or, yeah. I mean, again, you just lose your mojo, and that's horrible to see.
Yeah, no, you put it exactly right. If you lose your mojo, man, the game's done. So hang up your hat. Don't get out there. Go out there. People do continue to do that, and some people do come back. They come back. We've seen some people that. I mean, gosh, look at Robbie Lawler. That's a guy who's been in the game a long time, right? And all of a sudden, he makes this second part of his career was fabulous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, him and Arlovsky both. They have
right.
this, like,
Arlovsky's another
early
one.
greatness. He was champion, and then he was a joke. If you remember, he was a joke for a few years. Like him and
Yeah.
Sylvia had another match outside the UFC.
It's a fact.
And it was just one of the worst things you'd ever seen in your life. And you're like, man, these two should retire. They're ruining their own legacy with these just terrible fights that
Right.
they're having, and he's losing to people they shouldn't be losing to. All of a sudden, he comes back and he's knocking people out in the UFC again. You're like, dude, you got this the second win in your career. It's amazing.
Yep.
I
agree 100%.
One would argue that they're like the Shawn Michaels of MMA, right? Where the second part, the second act is, the star shines brighter the second act than it ever did in the first, right?
Yeah, they just didn't, lose their smile and quit.
Oh, oof. There you go. Yeah, we're not Dean Douglasing anything here. No, but I mean, in terms of the mentality of it, right? We hear all the time about like fighters who are great in the gym, right? They're piecing people up in the gym, and when it comes to fight time, they're never able to turn it on. You hear about this with the coaches, or vice versa. They look like they're drizzling shits in the gym and getting subbed and whatever, and then get in the cage and they're able to turn it on, and again, like that mindset, it's just like
it's hard too. I think it's
as
a lot
coach, it's something that even so, our guy that fought on Friday, I would say he's one of our two guys that I have the strongest mindset in the gym. They just they don't freak out. They're professional. They have fun with it. And even on Friday, there was a failure to launch. He couldn't pull the trigger, and we're like, what just happened, bro? Like, they usually I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be like a 9-1 favorite, and
crazy.
He took an L. And as a coach, sometimes you're like, okay, how do we fix this? You know? And that's definitely where like a sports psychologist is, especially like this far into the game. It's if teams can get one, it's always good.
Yeah. Maybe you approach it kind of like Ben Jones. I always wonder if you could just get punched, then you're in the game. But before that, it's too much thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that Ben takes him, he slaps the shit out of him, right? And then you're in the game. You're ready to go. Once you're getting hit, because we're accustomed to this. When you're sparring, you know what I mean? You may come into there just shadowing, but bam, once you get hit, you're going, right?
Yeah.
The gears change.
Gabe Green, right?
Yes, Gabe Green is a savage animal.
The gifted one.
He's gifted Gabe Green. He's the perfect example. He says himself, he's like, I don't know. I'm happy to be there. I'm having fun, but it's just my rhythm, my movement is just not there till I get hit.
Exactly.
And
so honest.
Yeah.
And such a powerful and technical fighter.
Yeah, he's
always
working
strong.
he's always working on his movement, and he's one of those guys who's long and strong.
Yeah.
Usually you get a guy who's like long but they're twigs.
Yeah.
Or they're strong but they're stocky.
Sure.
He's like long and strong.
Yeah.
He's like physically, he's got all the tools. He's got cardio for days, and but still, he needs to take a hit before he's in the fight.
Yeah. I get it.
His hair though.
He donated.
Yeah.
Oh, he did,
Samson
though.
cut his hair off.
I was like, bro, I was saying to myself, I'm gonna run into him and I'm gonna grab my phone and like talk shit like.
It's still Gabe Green, dude. Hair or not. Yeah, he does look like Jorge Masvidal a little. So much more handsome Jorge.
He's done it, I think, twice since I've known him. He grows it long.
That's cool.
And then he cuts it off and donates it. So
Great reason.
And for people that don't know Gabe Green, he's the nicest guy. Like, you would not suspect that he is a potential assassin.
yeah, he's one of those
Right?
guys. Like, if you try to just mess with him, he's like, if you're like, Gabe, I'll fuck you up. He's like, obviously. And you're like, stop ruining my insult by
Exactly.
going with it.
Yeah,
He just
absolutely.
he tries to become friends with the fighters beforehand, even if they're trying to be like doing that. And he's like, "What's up, man?" You know, he's just super
He's so
happy.
friendly,
And
yeah.
he's the thing. He's legitimately happy to be there when he fights.
That's amazing.
And
Dude,
Yeah.
before the combate, dude, I caught him, and it's on my Instagram somewhere, but like,
Was he Latin dancing?
oh, not just that, but he was like, he got a hold of the headsets and was doing commentary, and I was like, hey, he's stealing my
Yeah.
spot, damn it.
I
mean,
I think
no,
I took
but
that
it's-
picture. It was him and Mark Alvidrez.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, nobody's here. Go jump in the booth. I'll take a
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. No, I've got a video for sure. So yeah, but that's it, you know. And again, it's amazing, you know, why more people aren't into combat sports, because again, it's when you train it, right? Everybody wins, right?
Yeah.
Like if a female trains it of any age, right? That's the less susceptibility to something horrible happening, right? We see news stories throughout time
That's a
where it's
fact.
happened, right?
100%. You can't like just physically like. I mean, you point a gun at someone, you can do whatever you want, but you
Yeah.
can't like physically force rape a woman who knows jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You're gonna get something snapped or you're going to sleep.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
I believe that. Take BJJ to protect your vajayjay.
Yeah.
Dondo, everyone. Dondo.
That's a Dondoism.
Absolutely. I don't know where to move from there.
Yeah, I forgot what.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
Joey, bring us back to reality.
But what?
And
As a
somebody
coach-
hit the air conditioner for I dying
It is.
here.
I was thinking that too. It's kind
Colbert, we have
This
a
is
guest
guy with
here.
sleeveless.
Robert thinks everywhere is Hawaii.
that's cool.
Yeah, everywhere is just
Um,
tropical.
But in terms of coaching, right? What have you learned more about the game versus actually fighting? Like, I mean, has your respect and I guess level of knowledge grown more as a coach? I mean, I would assume so if people are entrusting you to
Yeah.
to coach them.
I mean, the longer I do it, there's just a natural, like, the newer guys see that I'm doing with the more veteran guys, and they develop that. But the more veteran guys, like, over time, you learn each fighter. You're not going to coach everyone the same. You
Right.
know, certain guys, like for me, when I'm doing anything, I'm like, only coach me something I'm not seeing. Otherwise, cut it. Like, that's just how I am.
Right.
And so with different people, you coach what you know they need.
Yeah.
You know? And they'll develop that. Like, so it's why, like, you know, Josh Jones, he does most of his like sparring and rounds over at Body Shop, but he's still our guy, and we coach him because, you know, like, we know him, we know how to coach him, and he knows that we know how to coach him. He knows what we're gonna yell is advice that he finds good because he's been with us from the jump.
Wow.
And even then, it's like I've done every part of the fight. You know, I'm a judge, I'm a ref, I'm a coach. I fought. You know, it's a big thing. There's a handful of good coaches who have never fought. I think like Cesar Gracie
Right.
is one of them. I don't think anyone in their right mind would ever question how dope Cesar Gracie is.
Right.
And before he had that one fight, he had never fought. You know, he came out and was it Frank Shamrock? Yeah, but before that,
Right.
you know, and so that I think it's always good. Even when I did fight, it was never to have like a career in fighting. It was more a mix of I didn't want to get old and regret that I didn't do it when I could, and then I wanted to, as a coach, like if you're a fighter, when I'm coaching you, when I'm giving you advice on how to handle the way you're feeling, you can trust that I've been there. You're not going to second guess. Even if you're not going to say it, it's not going to be in your head that like he don't know, he never been there. And then other aspects to it, like I try to be annoying as a coach for everyone but my guy. Personally, Tracy handles his stuff, but like if one of our guys takes a guy down and he's in hearing range of where I am,
Right.
I'm gonna yell shit. It doesn't necessarily have to be true. I'm just gonna try and influence. I'm gonna yell, keep going. He don't like it. He wants out. He could be fine. But when fighters hear that, they're like, this motherfucker. They get so annoyed.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to just get it like, and that's legal. I can yell it all I want. You know. I'm like, he's gonna quit. You know. Or
Wow.
depending on what they're doing, like I'll try to influence the ref because especially if it's a ref who knows I'm a ref, and I'll be like, just keep going. The ref's gonna stop it. You just keep. Ref's gonna stop it. And I'll yell it loud enough for the ref to hear.
Wow.
You know. And then they start thinking like. They'll just start focusing like,
I
should
like this kind of
Wow.
talent. For real.
Talk about the mental game, though. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
It is.
There's layers of Max. That's what I wanted to know.
Absolutely.
I know that he understands the game at a different level. We all have our understanding. We've all trained at some degree, but Max has this. I think it's intuitive for him because I've been and witnessed his classes, and you're just on a different level than I see a lot of people at. And I love that you come from the striking background, so it isn't just jiu-jitsu. It's always in a position where I can pound you or set up a submission.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Like especially like with my brand of jiu-jitsu, the more it's evolved over the years, it's gone less to just like sub, and it's gone more to get into a position where you can hit them and learn how to hold that position.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna submit you with my fist. You'll give me the submission.
Yeah.
Like
You're gonna
I don't
wanna
have
give
to
it.
be. You see some guys are in a fight and they're like just holding like this whole time trying to do jiu-jitsu,
Wasting energy.
And I'm like, fuck that. Just why are you trying to pass half? Just sit there and hit them. You know, you got an underhook, just fucking hit them.
Yeah.
You know, and just little things like that where positions that in like sport grappling might not be like a cradle, like side control to a cradle. It's in a jiu-jitsu tournament. You already got your side control points.
Sure.
I'd rather have cradle. I'm gonna try and break your ribs with knees,
Absolutely.
like things like that, or having the back with just where your body, you're triangled in the legs instead of around the body. That's worth 0 in a grappling tournament. For me, that's my favorite way to control the back.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, little things like that, and then
People don't even realize they can be controlled that way sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a sneaky move.
yeah, and so I forgot the question.
No, it was more about your intuitiveness and
Oh,
the
yeah.
level of coaching that you offer, because you have been in so many parts of the game, including the game itself, being there and actually throwing your fists and taking someone to the ground and
Yeah.
doing it. So
And then even
Get it.
judges, like everyone has seen. I'm sure anybody who's watching this
Yeah.
has seen bad judges. You know, you're
Yeah.
like, it's like 29, 20, 29, 28,
part of the
29,
game.
28, 27, 30. And you're like, how did this one guy give the loser all 3 rounds, you know?
Yeah.
And so
no MMA
it's-
background, no boxing background, no wrestling background.
And same thing, like with what you yell, because when you're in a corner, you're almost always next to a judge.
Yeah.
You can influence them too. Like you be yelling stuff like at the end of the round, just be yelling like, "You hit like 200 hits on the ground there. That's easy. 10-8, 10-8 all day." And yell that before they put their score down. Then maybe they'll be like,
You're in their
"Man,
head.
what's a 10-8?" You know what I mean?
You're in their head.
And same thing if they know
It's like cheating on
yeah.
a test or something.
And then
That's
if they
not
know I'm a
cheating, he's in their
judge,
head.
If they know I'm a judge, like
Your
I
judgment
as a
matters.
judge, you shouldn't be paying attention to what they're saying.
Yeah,
You should just
yeah.
nothing there but the fight and the ref.
Yeah.
But they're gonna hear it. I'm yelling it. And
The
so-
power of influence.
I mean, like,
And
I-
that
I'd
same
rather-
works for the fighter too, because you're saying things and they're responding because they know your voice.
Yeah.
So that same power of influence is over everybody in the room.
Yeah, and then little things.
This guy.
Yeah,
It's a fucking seminar in coaching.
If it's a good judge, they're not going to be influenced by you.
Yeah.
If it's a bad judge, they might as well be bad in your favor.
That's right.
You know.
No, you might as well.
Everyone's been burned by bad judges, and so
We watch it way too often and wonder what their backgrounds are and why they're judging an MMA fight in the first place.
yeah, it's like if your guy's on his back and you want him to get stood up, you yell at the ref like, "Yeah, hold that. The ref's gonna stand you up." Like, put it in the ref's head.
Yeah.
You know, don't make it wait for it to pop in their head and then they realize it. Like, manifest it. You know.
I like it.
And guys, I'd like to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors tonight. We got Word of Mouth, Cauliflower Nation, Massage Matters, All 7, and MMA Event Inc. So that they're not on their board. And, of course, our biggest huge sponsor, Our Life CBD. Now,
Don't throw the tincture
now
bottle at him.
are we ready for this? Do we have to get a pitcher's
goes.
mask?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh,
Hashtag web redemption,
I
fuckers.
actually use this.
Take
but-
a shot. You
Yeah.
use that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're on. Okay.
Yes.
There you go. Whoa, don't
That's
sniff
probably not how
it.
it does.
It's not for sniffing. It's not sniffing oils.
he thought it was put up your butt or something.
Whoa. Well, you can. It has applications for
That's
that.
tape. Yeah, I think that's actual product.
No, you don't have to crack it.
Yeah.
You can toss it back to the owner.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You can crack it if you want to try some.
We'll try it.
Now, we're happy that Adam Woods actually caught this. If you didn't see last week's show,
Yes,
unfortunately, I mean, his face is okay. You can't tell if he has a black eye or not, but it hit his face. And
I always have black eyes, but you know how I noticed that black eye?
had
With
to
Our
go
Life
there.
CBD. So get you some. Get you some.
There we go.
It's not the menthol rub.
What flavor?
Not
is
the
it?
menthol,
There's no
because that
flavor.
one.
It's natural, bro.
No,
Natural.
CT oil and
Naturally flavored 1,500 milligram bottle.
That one's
There you
15.
go.
That's our regular.
I
strength.
recognize it just by sight. I use it
let's
so
try it.
much.
There
Look
it
at
is.
that. Down the hatch.
Down the hatch.
Max, you're going to
Don't
be
taste
back for
bad at
more?
all.
No, heck
It like
no.
tastes like
Tastes
air.
Exactly.
Tastes like air.
I got to have a shot. I can't, you know what?
Organic MCT
I can't
oil,
let
baby.
Max trip alone. I got to have a little myself.
now, real quick, what'd you say? What's made out of?
Organic MCT oil, and then we brew that
There's
with
the logo.
CBD isolate. So, in all our isolate comes from one farm in Pueblo, Colorado called Shy Farms. So we keep that consistency and have the best quality of CBD always.
Made in Huntington Beach.
Local,
Yes.
too. So.
Ready, doctor?
literally tastes like air, if that makes sense.
It's like kind of, it's kind of
That's what
buttery.
everybody says. A lot of
Friendless.
people actually use different carriers, carrier oils. I've seen olive oil, hemp oil, hemp seed oil, all kinds of different stuff. The problem is how it tastes and the aftertaste it leaves. When you're buying a high quality or you're using a high quality MCT oil, fractionated coconut oil, it might have a little hint of coconut like flavor, but that's about it. And kind of just everybody says it kind of tastes like water.
I dig
Yeah,
it.
You know?
I say like the normal one that I use for the tincture has like they're like flavored, so it's like a cherry flavor.
Yeah.
I've never tasted, but even then, it's like it's still got to be mixed. Because
Yeah.
if you do it straight like that, you'd be like doing this face for a minute.
I know.
You know?
That's the reason why we don't have any flavors. Once again, we want to be all natural.
dig
If you look
that.
at the ingredients, man,
Yep.
there's 2 ingredients in this: fractionated coconut oil, which is MCT oil, and CBD isolate. That's it. All of our products are very minimal. Even on we have ointments and rubs. On those, there's 3 butters: mango butter, shea butter, cocoa butter, 3 oils, olive oil, coconut oil, and argan oil. And then we use essential oils. So everything is all really simple. You don't want to have 1,000 ingredients that you can't pronounce. You want to know what you're putting on your body.
Do we have a little something from this weekend that we can show about Sean rolling down in Oceanside? Is that possible, or do we not have? We don't have that ready. We're gonna have to put that on the next show. But Sean was down in Oceanside at 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu with
There it
the
is.
Freaks. He was with the Freaks, and he rolled with Gio. He rolled with Kyle Chambers.
I did not roll Kyle Chambers this time. I rolled a bunch of the other guys. I did roll Kyle Chambers and Bame last time I
Yep.
went.
And young
Before
lady
we went on
Gina, man,
tour.
she's a badass.
Oh, Gina actually, she actually armbarred me. I have to give her that. Pretty awesome. Love it.
Yep, she's hardcore.
Yeah, she is.
It's awesome. There, there's Neanderthals in that school. I'm just gonna say it like that.
Wow.
You know,
Damn.
I am quite a midget. When I walked in, I was like, "What do they feed these people in Oceanside?" And then Robert said, "We're right by the Marine base." I'm all,
Yeah,
"Okay,
you're
that makes
Pendleton.
sense." Yeah, just they're beasts, right? And Gio's a regular dude you'd never suspect if you didn't know, but he's a superstar of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know,
Freakazoid.
freakazoid.
And his brother, man. I mean, Gio
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
a lot of love, but
The
I mean,
boogeyman.
the boogeyman. Fuck.
Yeah,
Those
They're running
Martinez
San
brothers
Diego.
are
We'll
badasses.
see Kyle Chambers this week. This weekend we'll see Kyle Chambers in Mexico. We're going to be going
Is
to
that
Combat
this weekend?
Jiu-Jitsu. That's this weekend.
CJJ.
We're leaving Friday and we'll be back on Monday. So they're competing on Sunday night. Very excited about that.
Hell
Wish
yes.
our boy Kyle Chambers some great luck. I know he's going to be out there kicking some ass. Our Life CBD fight team, baby.
That's right. Our Life CBD will be in Monterrey, Mexico, with the CJJ team.
Monterrey.
Now, do you have papers to get back? No problem. You can jump
Sean
on the
has
board.
Hey,
Just wanna
that's a
make sure.
generalization, Joe.
I got my papers. I might bring you so you can't come back.
There you go.
You're gonna need
Dude,
two
I'm not your
seats on
average
the
size
plane.
Latino, man. I'm
No.
a giant when I go over there, bro.
He either goes business
Okay,
class
then
or
Lucha
2 seats,
Libre,
one or
dude.
the other. It's no car
You'll be
seat.
fine.
That's how I make my money. I have to like wrestle in Mexico to come back to America.
Okay,
Santana.
so you're sending him to Hong Kong, is what we were saying, right?
Hong Kong is
See-
a bar right off Coahuila, and that's where Joey hangs out on the weekends.
Oh no, I
Hey.
don't.
And not for the tacos.
Anyway,
Secret
but yeah.
be known.
So as a coach, Max, what has been? I'll start this off first. Actually, what has been the, I guess, most like heartbreaking thing? Well, like whether it be emotion or something happened to one of your students. Like, what has been the most heartbreaking thing as a coach that you've experienced?
That's a tough question. What's what you
Yeah.
trying to do to my boy here? This is your life, Max.
I mean, every time one of our guys takes an L, I don't know how much. I mean, sure, it's heartbreaking by definition, but at the same time, I probably feel the same way a lot of coaches do, where you're like, I want to fight that motherfucker right now. Where you don't really want to, it's wrong, but you're
Just
just,
an
like,
emotion.
you just want your guy to win so bad, especially when you put all the time into him, and especially if it's like, we have some guys that fight for fun. I'm like, as long as you had fun, that's what counts. You know what I mean? But we do have some guys who fight for a career,
Right.
and those ones, it's just, it's hard because that's like a reset in their career. They're on this
Absolutely.
path, like 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 fights. It's like, oh, we're gonna get a call up soon. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then take an L and you like start over. And then I would say it hasn't been anything overly bad. There's still potential. We have an upcoming fight in January, Gabe's
Yeah.
fight.
Yep,
that
that's a
one
big one.
is an important one. Like
I'm excited about it.
I have all the confidence in the world in Gabe. You know,
Absolutely.
but anything can happen. That one would be heartbreaking if it went bad. But
Sure.
Can't focus on that. You know, it hasn't even happened yet.
That's right.
Um,
But that's
Let's
a
say-
highlight in your career, just
Yeah.
to get to that level with one of your training partners right now where you are. I think that's just a cool place to be.
I would say, let's say for now, again, there wasn't anyone that's overly bad, fortunately.
Right.
But
Good thing.
I would say when I think it was the first time Gabe Green fought in Bellator in the Forum.
Yep.
Like we had fought in the pond, and gotten a W there.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like from here we have 3 arenas that are ours. We got the pond, we have the Forum, and we got Staples Center.
Right.
And those are on my list of places I want to coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so when he took that out of the Forum, I was like,
That hurts.
that sucks.
Because
you
we're
know?
home.
And eventually,
there.
Yeah, eventually he went back to the Forum. Bellator got a win. It was
Yep.
good. And Jones has fought in the Forum like 2 or 3 times
Love
now, gotten
that.
wins. But that first one, I was like, "Fuck, man, this was like it's one of the bigger shows."
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Right.
but Gabe, you know, he got back on his horse and he's back in the game now.
He
you know?
always has been in the game because he's a gamer. Is
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
I think that was the one. It was against forgot the dude's name, pinpoint Muay Thai fighter, and just
Yep.
caught him early, melted him.
Absolutely.
That one sucked.
In all of these years being in the game, what's a highlight? Like what's
was
a
the
what's a
second-
moment?
that was the opposite
I'm
end of
trying
the
to take it the
pendulum.
other end of the
Yeah.
spectrum, and make sure we leave on a happy note tonight. But give me at least one good or 2 good things that have happened. That I mean, I know you love the sport,
Yeah.
and you know what I think. I know I'm going a little bit beyond my question right now. It's just that he's in this game and loves MMA, but it's the team itself because they're thick. When you see this team, I see a lot of teams.
Yeah, a team's
Your
not just a team;
is
it's a
mad,
family, and
but
that's
you guys
like,
are tight.
I feel like when I started, gyms were a lot more like that,
Yeah.
and they're a lot less like that now.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we always want to keep in our school. Like
It's thick,
if someone comes and is gonna like disrupt this family, like they probably should find a different school.
That's right.
Because we like to keep our team a family, and so I mean you'll see that we've had. You know, old school style, like brawls break out of tournaments. Like everyone on our team.
That's why we
drops
roll
their
in
shit
numbers.
And,
That's why we
like,
roll out in
it's-
numbers.
It's not a bunch of butt floppers who don't fight. It's
right.
guys who all drop their shit and are ready to throw down.
Thank you for saying that. That's exactly how we roll out.
Because yeah, I mean, like it happened a couple years ago. There was a
Dude, every
was it
parking
New
lot it
Breed? There
seems
was a
like it.
tournament at
Yeah.
New Breed, and big old brawl broke out. And then
Yep.
some people, like some of the newer school people, were like, "Oh, this is disgraceful jujitsu," and we're like, "Shut the fuck up!" And like then you got the old school
with
guy.
him 100%.
You got the old school guys like Kenny Jules there from
Right.
Grapple TV doing
Yeah,
photos.
yeah, Kenny Jules
And
knows.
he's laughing his ass off. He's like, "This is how it used to be." He was excited.
Why we're all in it.
Because like no one there's like trying to kill. There's a little brawl break out. It happens. You split it up. It's a fun story for everybody.
actually
you know?
right.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Like as long as no one got maimed.
Ain't nobody's gonna let that happen, right?
You know, like it was. And then you have like, that last one was funny to me because there's one guy like, "No shoes on the mat," and while there's a brawl going on, I'm like, "Man, you don't know what to do right now." Like,
That's the guy that taps in the street, and you're like, "Dude, we're in the street.
yeah.
I'm gonna break your fingers."
And so, but as far as highs, there's few. It's like depends like the category. I would say. Every time we get like a Bellator big show in, like
Right,
I mean,
that's
Pachanga's cool
huge.
and all, but like Anaheim Pond, Forum, ones like that, those are just they feel amazing because that crowd, it's such a big crowd, like a big
And
arena.
We watched concerts there. We grew up
Yeah.
watching things there.
Yeah, and when you go in the Forum, I have a picture of it. When you go in like the entrance,
Yeah.
there's like not the regular entrance, but where like the fighters and like anyone,
Yeah, the Forum
Tunnel
Club.
show,
Yeah.
Tunnel.
the tunnel. There's red walls with just
Yep.
white writing on the sides that just have names of every event that's ever been there. You know,
Yeah, the
and
Eagles.
you'll get to the very end of it and you'll see like Chuck Tito 3
Yeah,
is
yeah,
on
yeah,
it, you know
yeah.
what I mean? But you'll see like just like Metallica on there.
Yeah.
You'll see like legendary bands. that perform
Absolutely.
there.
Led
Led
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin, yeah.
Yeah.
We said at
And,
the same time.
I remember just walking down this and I'm like, just point. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like they've all been here and now we're here.
Yeah.
You know, those are always
I think I
amazing.
met Woods there actually at the Forum.
Yeah.
That you were outdoors and I came outdoors, and then we just hit it off. And
Absolutely.
That's what kind of happened.
That's
I
pretty
might have
much
known
it.
you before, but that's where we kind of got down.
Yeah,
and became
that
good friends.
and Blackouts,
Yeah, yeah.
rolling at Blackouts.
That's right.
Yeah?
That's right.
Yeah, and then
Crazy stories, but yeah.
I would say the last, so Josh Jones' last fight
Yes.
in Bellator was it just based on my reaction probably would come off like one of the bigger ones because Josh, he's always had a good career, always wins, and then took a couple L's back to back.
Yeah.
And so we had one in Bellator, and we're like,
That hurts.
need this one, you know?
Yeah.
And he got a first round guillotine that one, and I think somebody has it on video, but you just see me like, I stood up, I'm like, like it just all came out because
I
I was
love
just
that.
like, I wanted to win for him so bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you
then-
believe it. You believe in him. So you absolutely need to see
Yeah.
that. That's what it's all about.
And then you have down to like this weekend, one of the guys that did his first tournament. He used to be one of my coworkers. Like, 'cause outside of MMA, I'm a software engineer. Wow.
I had no idea. I thought you were just MMA guru.
Yeah, no,
Software engineer.
I'm a software engineer. That's
Crazy.
why the MMA is like a side thing.
Can you believe it?
And so I do that, and then one of the guys I work with, like everyone always talks about, oh, I want to do that. I'm like, okay, do it.
Yeah.
You know, like especially as a software engineer, I'm like, I know you can all afford it. You know,
Yeah.
like, no one here is getting like not getting paid,
And they're going to go to the right place coming
Yeah.
with you. It's not like they're going to go to some place on the corner and, learn to butt drag.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it is. Everyone always talks about it, but getting them to actually do it is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And like, no matter how much you try to pitch it
And
to
to
them.
continue.
Yeah, and like you explain it to them, like try to explain to my turns like how life changing it is.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I'm telling you, once you do it, you will thank me. And if you wait a year, you'll regret not doing it a year earlier. Like the longer you wait, the more regret you're gonna have.
And less
but-
likely to come back because the
Yeah,
percentages in
absolutely.
between belts is huge.
Yeah, and people don't listen. But this guy Kent Kawahara, he was he's one of like the one of the nerds I worked with. We're all a bunch of nerds. We're computer nerds.
Yeah.
And he just said he was I think he was a collegiate basketball player, but he had like knee problems that kind of killed his basketball career. And but he still, and he comes like, if you know him, you're like, oh, this guy's just a nerd. He comes off like glasses, just doesn't look like a beast, but he came to train because he had like this grind in him still.
Sure.
And he started training, and he did his first tournament this weekend. And for me, I was like, I just want him to get a win,
Yeah.
And then he won his first match in 9-0.
He probably loves that
Yeah,
vibe.
and I took that picture. I sent it to everyone at the office.
Oh,
I'm
hell
like, this
yeah.
could have been you. This
Yeah.
could have been all
Wow.
of you. Like, this guy stepped onto a mat with a guy that wants to rip his fucking head off, wants to break his limb, wants to choke him out. And he beat that guy 9-0, dominated him. This could have been any one of you, but you all talk, And for me, I'm just like, I'm always trying to get like my nerd squad of killers, a bunch of people that like are just unassuming, but will fuck you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
No, you're inspiring me. I think we need more Max in this office, Robert, to get things done. No two ways about it. Joey.
Boys, we're about a couple minutes before the next hour,
Yep.
next show going along. So where can we catch you on your social medias with, of course, starting off with Adam Woods,
According to Woods on everything, just do that.
Dondo,
Dondo, the Gym Crasher on Insta, and then John Dondo on Facebook.
Max.
you can find me Maxoplata on Instagram and Twitter.
Such a dope name, Maxo Plata. And he's at Subfighter MMA, Subfighter Affliction,
Yeah.
MMA and Jiu-Jitsu
Yeah.
in
And if you-
Seal Beach.
And if you want to find out more about Our Life CBD, what about your social?
Our Life CBD on all the platforms.
That's it. That's our homeboy, Sean Lerma. What about you, Joe?
Joey the Bull, anywhere from Facebook, YouTube, Facebook,
TikTok.
Instagram,
TikTok.
Snapchat, and TikTok.
TikTok.
I don't know what that
That's
is.
that's for the youngins.
Yeah, well, my niece got me hooked on that shit. So we're both, we're doing videos. I got my wife in the video. It's pretty funny. It's,
Yep.
it's good times,
Okay.
Stay tuned. We're
No,
coming out.
it's-
We're coming out with the new Gym Crashers website soon. We're gonna have apparel, T-shirts, other things going on, some video. So we'll keep you informed. It's coming. It's being built as we speak. Robert is on the computer, just dabbling away over there doing things, but we will let you know probably next show what's going on with that. And hit us up anytime. Free Admission Media, Gym Crashers, Joey the Bull, Sean Lerma. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we'll catch you next week. Same time. Coming up next is the Royal Ramble with our OCCW wrestling team. Don't miss it. See you in a few.
Your
Hit it.
team?
Hit it.
Like a tag team?
Thank you, Max.
shit.
Thank you to the
Heels and
homeboy,
faces. Heels
right?
and faces. Kayfabe.